Okay, I'm just going to see if we're going to be live here. Get this running in the background and hopefully we're in good shape. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hey, there we are. Welcome. This is another session from James Maduke, your, where are we, trainingsites.io, and we do these live webcasts every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. What are we going to cover today? I'm going to spend some time on Chat GPT and building online courses. Now, it's interesting here, just on my phone, and the alert readiness system, one of these live warnings. So if you hear stuff in the background, it's the smartphone going off with one of those warnings, and it's a test of the system. So pardon me for a little bit of noise in the background there. So what are we going to do today? We build training sites, create online courses. One of the things that's come up, obviously, if you haven't had your head in the sand, is this whole thing with Chat GPT and being able to create content. And I've done a number of videos now available on YouTube and also to the members in the trainingsite.io campus, just on this whole idea of building out online courses in using Chat GPT to actually create the courses. So what I wanted to do today is I wanted to go over a bit of the process that I use and that we use building out courses, show you a couple examples of them, and then go through some of the steps that you need to go through if you want to consider using ChatGPT to build out courses for your training site and for your campus. And I'm going to put a little caveat out up front, and I think this is one just to keep in the back of your mind, is that this whole thing with ChatGPT and courses, it's a slippery slope, and you're going to have to be very careful with it. And I did a separate video on this, and I'll just touch on it briefly right now because I think it's important. Is a lot of the courses that we created and that most people will create first when they get started with these is informational transfer courses. And what I'm talking about there is either a mini course or micro course, and it's usually just regurgitating or repurposing existing information and trying to organize it in a way that's a little bit different. And instead of manually putting it together, people are using AI bots and ChatGPT and all these other AI tools to basically do the work for them. And they're calling it a course, but all it is some information that's gone out, and it doesn't serve a specific purpose or outcome. And in fact, it's missing out you as the instructor, the teacher, the one with the experience, being able to sort of guide people through all the intricacies of it. So if you're creating a course, any kind of course, the one thing that I want you to make sure that you can kind of answer in your head when you're making it is the so what test. So if, for example, you create a course and it's on how to do something, just at the end of it, say, so what? So what? And if you can't answer that so what question, usually it's a information regurgitation course. So what do you want people to do? What do you want people to be able to have as an outcome? What happens after that? And so you have to be very, very careful on kind of spending time with these AI tools, putting information together, but not really thinking about what is it for the learner and what is it that I want to leave behind for the learner? Is it just so that they know something, or is it because they can do something that they maybe weren't able to do before? Because there's so much information available, and the bots are making it easier to collect that information in an organized fashion. The speed at which people can access stuff is dramatically changing. I'll give you an example. If you go for, if you want to find out something, you may have gone to Google and done a search, and you search and there's 17 or 18 different text kind of answers that you may look at individually to try and organize it, put it together. The second biggest search engine in the world is YouTube, and in fact, in some respects, it's growing in a different way. It's a visual search engine as opposed to a text search engine. And if people want to know how to do something, not necessarily know something, they're going to go to YouTube and they're going to watch some kind of how-to video and or be entertained at the same time, or have a personality that they enjoy learning from or spending time with in a visual fashion. So it's a visual search engine. And now what's happening is with AI and bots is we're in a position where we've got a text search engine, a visual search engine. Now we have a bot doing the searching for us and giving us the information that we need in an organized fashion. So that's where courses kind of fit in before, is putting that in a position that was, that you had that organized information for people. So that's kind of removed by a bot. A bot gets rid of it. And in this last week, the ability for us to create bots individually, that is making another huge change, because what it's doing is it's giving us the ability to create our own course generators or content generators based on our regular business. The first one that I did quite quickly, put it together, it took me about 15 minutes to put together in total, was on how to pick a paint color for a home. That's one of the other projects that we have. It's a membership site for DIY and home decor projects. And big question we get asked all the time is, how do I pick a paint color? And in fact, you could put a course together on how to pick a paint color, right? You could go do a search on Google and find 15 or 20 different websites that have an opinion on it. You could go to YouTube and see how people pick from a color wheel or a palette, and they pick out all the different situations. For example, whether it's a bedroom or a living room or a dining room, and they'll give you some steps to follow, and you may look at those and take the time to watch the video. But we put a bot together that just asks them individually about their situation. What room are you painting? What is your favorite style? Do you have an inspiration piece? Do you have existing furniture, other pieces that are available to you to guide you with your picture? What colors do you like? What do you not like? And it will give you, the bot actually gives you the answer that you need to pick the paint color. It'll even go and pick out the actual paint colors that you can go to the store with to buy testers, and it instructs you on what to do once you have them. So you don't have to learn that. A bot went and did that, and there's no need for the course there because it's giving you the information and some next steps. So we're looking at right now, how can I use Chat GPT to put together a course that is of value? And I'm talking about ones that are saleable. So if you have a training site, I'm not talking about a business training site if it's a specific business where, for example, you have to sell a certification and know that people have done it, be able to quiz people. That's something a little bit different. But if you're, if you're really, really, really interested in sharing your expertise and helping people get the result that they want, how can you use ChatGPT to help you do that? So that's what I wanted to cover today, is kind of go through some of those pieces and some of the things that we learned after putting together our bot to take one kind of step out of it. So here's what we're going to cover today in a couple kind of steps as we go through this. The first thing I want to do is I want to introduce you and or remind you of what's called a topical authority map. And the reason we do a topical authority map, this is something that we do for businesses, we do it for search. But the great thing is that if you are a course content creator or you're building an education business or a learning campus, is that topical authority map, if you do it correctly, it actually turns into your course library. So a topical authority map is great for search and focus and structuring your business. But if you organize it correctly, that topical authority map is your course library. And it's you as the instructor being able to put together, organize these individual topics into courses that can get people the outcomes that they want. So we'll spend a little bit of time on the topical authority map so you can see how that works and what's involved on that. Then we'll look at the different pieces of the course and then how we can use ChatGPT to generate that course content. And one of the cool things, and I'm going to step back for a second because this one is interesting to me, is when we first started doing courses, the very first course I probably did maybe 20 years ago was about a PowerPoint slide deck and being able to narrate a PowerPoint slide deck. So you had to create series, slides, PowerPoint. You had to narrate it while you were doing it. And one of the things just recently that we've done and done with clients is you can now go and you can basically take a Word document, not even yours. If you have a Word document, you can actually upload the Word document to Copilot, which is the Microsoft AI tool, and it will actually create the slide deck and the narration for you. So I want you just to think about that. If you have a Word document or a text document, you can actually have the whole presentation made for you now. This is stuff we used to have to pay people to do, videographers and voices, and it was a huge nightmare and a huge undertaking when we first started out 20 years ago. Now, throw a text document up. You could actually capture the narration of someone else's text document, if you think about this, have the transcription of it, upload the transcription, and have your own slide deck made for you right within PowerPoint. And you'd be able to create not only courses, but lessons, everything from it. So having that topical authority map and having your structure of a library of information that you need based around your experience to get outcomes for people, that is the most important part of creating courses. So we'll spend a little bit of time with that up front. And I'll give you 2 prompts that you can use to really get focused on that. So let me just let me do this. I'm going to we'll open up a screen here. There we go. Let's do this one right here. So I'm going to write on a screen here, and I want you to think, I always talk about hubs and spokes. So, if we take a look at the hub here, and I want you to think about this hub and spoke. And my kind of gist on this is that when you are an educator, you're teaching online, you're a course creator, in the past, everyone focused on that big course in the middle. And that was where the focus was at the start. And I really think that focus is the wrong thing to do. A lot of times people don't even get started creating their course because they go, oh, it's too much work, or I don't know where to start, or it's an awful lot of effort. And they may spend a ton of time wanting to put it together, and they're probably thinking, oh man, it's got to be perfect before I do it. And it ends up costing a lot of money. And people don't even start. They just don't even bother doing it. So they just, they thinking about all this stuff and they get overwhelmed. And especially, if you're new to this and it's your first course. So I don't want you to spend time focusing on the middle. What I want you to do is I want you to make sure that you start on these smaller ones. And think about the whole notion again of micro courses or mini courses where all of this fits in. And you're thinking about it and you're going to go, okay, great. How can I put these micro courses and mini courses together? And these ones, for example, this is going to come from that topical authority map. Let me just do it in a little better writing there so it's easier to understand. So we want to make sure that first one comes from your topical authority map. So here's what I want you to do is I want you to write down 2 questions, and I'll show you how this works in Chat GPT in a second. But what we need to know is when we're putting together this information for ourselves at the start, what we're really trying to do is we're trying to figure out what is it that the people we've identified that we want to help, what is it that they're looking for? So we have two types of, what's the word I can use? We have two different types of searches that we're going to be using. And let me just open these up here. So I'll pick it up so we can do just make sure, get it out of the way here. Yeah. So what we need to do is we need to use, the first one is we need to know relevant. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask for semantically relevant but unique topics under a main category. So I'm assuming that you have an area of expertise that is a generic area, but it's one that you've identified that is a topic that people are interested in, that there's a business model that's available to you in there, but you need to make sure that you have all of those pieces in place and that you can, that you have a business. I'm assuming that you've done that. But once you've picked it, what you need to do is you need to make sure that you have a listing of the keyword, and think of it as keyword phrases, but you're going to ask and make sure we've got, I'll put in keyword, but I want it to make sure it's semantically relevant. And if you aren't sure of that, just do a search for it or ask Chat GPT what the difference between keywords and keyword phrases and semantically relevant keywords and keyword phrases. So we're going to pick up these phrases that relate to a specific keyword. And we have to make sure that they're all connected and that they answer questions like the who, what, where, when, why, all of the different parts of that main keyword that we're focusing on. So we're going to ask it first, these relevant ones under the main keyword that we're giving. And then after that, what we need to do is we need to go and say, number 2 is I want to have 10, it's going to give you a list of 30, right? So what this one is, I'm going to ask the second prompt is, give me 10 variations of the first one that you gave me that shows search intent. Okay, so it's the different reasons that people would search for that second phrase. So we have semantically relevant, we've got 30, and then we've got 10 variations that people search for each of those 30. So that is 300 topics and or lessons that we now have. So remember when I was talking about that hub and spoke? These chunks, or 300 ones, are the ones that we are going to organize as the expert in the form of courses, but we're going to take small individual pieces and put them together so that you see how that works. So what I'll do is, maybe I'll do it in Chat GPT so you can actually see it. Yeah, okay, let's do this one, and I'll just do the one that I did for pickleball, just so that you see how that works, and make sure that you got a handle on that one. Actually, we'll do this one. Yeah, I'll do this one where you can see my lovely face too. Actually, I might have a sip of coffee. Just hang on. So what I did is I logged into my Paint account. In this particular one, I did this a little while ago, so you can see on the screen here, we've got, give me 30 semantically relevant but unique topics under the main category of pickleball. So you can take that prompt, you're going to use the prompt and say, give me 30 semantically relevant but unique topics under the main category of kettlebell training, dog training, dog grooming, whatever you happen to pick or your area of expertise, you're going to ask for those 30 relevant ones. And ChatGPT just comes back and it says, yeah, sure, here's 30 semantically relevant but unique topics under the main category. And if you take a look here, We've got pickleball strategy, and it even gives you a description: techniques to win big games in big and pickleball games. Trends. What are the updates for the newest equipment, rule changes, and strategies for success? Tips, basics, equipment, rules, court dimensions, serving techniques. These are all things that people are asking in your market related to pickleball. So all of these things are stuff that people already want to learn about and know about. So what are we going to do here? So we got 30. You take a look at them and just ask for clarification if they don't make sense, or ask for more, or ask for them to be in order of search volume. You can do whatever you want with these, just playing around and getting clarified on what are the key areas that I should be focusing on and or my courses should be addressing. So put a list of those together, and then after that, we're going to take the first one, right? Pickleball strategy. And what I'm going to do is I just go and I say, give me 10 variations of pickleball strategy that address different search intent. So I have the keyword pickleball, the keyword phrase is pickleball strategy. Now I'm looking at the itty bitty nuts and bolts. What's the important part of it? And it is pickleball strategy for beginners, advanced pickleball tactics, doubles strategy. And you can see there's a whole raft of ones that come up around that. And I only asked for 10, but you could ask for another 30, right? So we've got all of these course ideas, lessons, and topics that we're starting to flush out, and it's Chat GPT is doing the work for us. And you'll notice it even says targeting newcomers for foundational strategies, advanced tactics for experienced players, singles players. And what you want to do is you want to go through all 30, and you're just going to ask the same thing for each of those semantically relevant phrases that it comes up with. So what are the pickleball equipment trends? What are the pickleball fashion trends? What are the trending pickleball locations? And you can work on each of these and flush them out and say, well, what's the ones that are important? What are the ones that are involved in me making sure that there's an answer to the so what question for someone? So how are we going to organize this one? So I'm expecting right from the start that you're going to be in a position where you've got these put together, and your job at this point is to go and say, okay, I have a specific question that I see that comes up that is of interest to me. And I want to look and I say, okay, if I could do some kind of big picture, if I could do some hub in the middle here that is everything to do around my particular area of interest, what are the pieces that I would need to have in order to be answered or taught in order for that to work? So is this the process, or what is the process that I need to teach people in order to get someone to be able to have that outcome that I'm promising? Remember, your big mastery course, that's the one that promises an outcome, right? So you have to take a look at what we've just generated and say, what are the pieces that I need to have, that I need to teach so that people have that big outcome? And what we're going to do from that is, once you've identified those, you're just going to take this one piece here, that first one that you come up with, and what we need to do is, again, this is my kind of rule of thumb. Doesn't have to be this way, but I think it's a good thing to do, is we're looking at this, and what you want to do is you want to create a mini course. And I always run out of room here on the side. So you want a mini course, and that's anywhere from 7 to 9 lessons. So mini course, 7 to 9 lessons, and you're looking anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes for each lesson. And that lesson content, what can it be? Well, there's all sorts of different things it can be. If you want to, you can have that lesson content as text only. You can have that lesson content as text and images. You can have that lesson content as a PowerPoint narrated slide deck. You can use other AI tools to create that content. But just think, what are the different kind of pieces or 5 minutes of content that I can put together and I can answer that number one piece. So I'll give you an example. If you have, we're looking at these and we go, okay, here's the first one that I'm doing is pickleball strategies for beginners. If you don't have the strategies or you don't have an organized grouping of strategies, but you know you need that as your first step, whether it be an introduction to pickleball for beginners, but I'm going to do one on strategies, just as this example, because it's the first one. So I'm going to take a look at that and say, okay, what are the 5 strategies or what are the top 7 strategies for beginning pickleball players? And what am I going to do? I'm going to go to Chat GPT and say, hey, I need to have a course on the top 7 strategies for pickleball players. And it will give you the top 7 strategies. And you can clarify that. You can ask for help. You can go to each of them and say, hey, is that one the most important? Are there other variations of that? Who recommends that? You can do all of your research organizing those, or you can just go and say, you know what, this is stuff that's specific to me and it's stuff that I think is true. So if you have your own strategies, that's fine. Then you need to create your information around that. Now, what else do you need other than the content? Again, remember, I'm assuming that you've got your so what, and this fits into having someone be able to do something at the end. So I want to take a look, and I also want to say, okay, if I have that, I got my mini course kind of lessons that I need in a particular area that is important to me. The next part is how will I know that they know? What do they need to be able to answer? Or what will they know in terms of information or have to have as the information? Me as the instructor, I have to understand that they understand. So what do I need to know? So you want to go and you say, okay, ask ChatGPT to create a quiz for you. If you have your own quiz, you can do that too. If you're not sure how to do a quiz, then you can go to the tool that you're using, for example, in LearnDash, and I believe there's 8 quiz types. You can have multiple choice. You can have single choice. You can have assignments. You can have lessons. You can have all sorts of different variations of quizzes, but you could just ask ChatGPT and say, based on the information or the 7 strategies that we talked about, create a quiz of 5 questions using this format so that I know as the instructor that, hey, this person understands what they just learned. So you ask ChatGPT to put the quizzes together. What comes after that? The other thing that's kind of neat here is you can give an assignment with your course, and you're going to have to ask people to do something before they can go to the next lesson. So you can have a quiz, for example, on each lesson, or you have a quiz on each kind of module that you've done, or you can have a final quiz, but you also have the ability to do assignments. And really what that does for you as the instructor, it knows not only do they know the information, but they acted on it. So if you're going to guarantee an outcome at the end of this, so that they're able to have the best strategies as a beginner, be able to apply them, if you're making a promise, you as the instructor, you want to make sure that you're giving them what they need, but they have to give you what you need, which is the fact that you've done the work. Okay? So ask for proper assignments. How can I assignments, or what assignments can I give to my students that they can apply based on the information that they want? And you can do the assignments. That's great. ChatGPT's done that. So it's actually created content for me. It's actually created the quizzes. It's given me the assignments. It's put all of this information together for me. And what do I want to do with this? What are the different pieces that I want to put together? Well, the neat one that I really like is even if you have those strategies, you can go and you can ask ChatGPT to base or create a course syllabus for you based on the information that you've collected. You can do this beforehand. You can do it after the fact. Let me just see if I can pull one up here that I've done in the past before. So one of the things, I'm in Chat GPT right now. One of the things that I don't like about Chat GPT is you can't search all of the different previous chats that you've done. Now I've tried to make some kind of a naming convention here, but it would be a lot easier. They just got it, they just have it by date. Let me just see what this one is. Yeah, there we go. So here's one, for example, is, here's one just as an example. I want you to respond in English. You're an expert course creator and curriculum designer. Use your backwards design and planning by starting with the outcome in mind and working backwards to create learning modules and activities, guide students toward this outcome. So all of the courses are project-based. Create a course outline based on the desired outcome. Okay, so course description, module 1, learning objectives, activities, real-world examples, step-by-step directions, discussion questions, and ways to expand. Number 2. So there's just an example where we asked ChatGPT to put together the lesson plan to actually teach it. Here's one. Create a brief course description to be used for telling the first-time course creator how to create a course with ChatGPT. Write in plain English. Course description, what it's covered. We can actually have it create the sales page as well. So all of the work that we normally did manually, we're now able to do with a bot or with AI tools. The part that we still need to do as an instructors is we're the one that has to personalize it or structure it in a way that we can guarantee the outcomes that we're promising. So this is kind of really cool stuff, and I want you just to think about this as we're playing around with it. One of the things I did, and I'll just show you what the one that we did previously was called the Palette Pro, and it was pick the right wall color. That's the bot that we originally made. Now, one of the ones that I haven't shown you is I have a bot that we've created for how to create and structure your online courses. So in as much as I just showed you some of the prompts, we're actually going to have a bot that will go through this with you. And I'll do that in another video, and I'll actually create it with you, but I'll show you what we played around with here and how we structured it. So I'm going to go, well, Palette Pro, let's go and what do I want to do here? We're just going to go and let's do edit the GPT that's here. So this is the one that's available, and you'll notice on the left-hand side, it's got create and then configure. This is create is like the beginner way, configure way is the manual way. So if you are just getting started out, you'll probably see a whole bunch of videos coming online on how to do this, but we're coming back. It's going to create. I've already created it. You can see it on the right-hand side here, what it's come up with. So I'm just going to go to configure, and I'll show you how we put that together to get it kind of structured. And the neat part here is these are the questions or the language. So English is now the coding language. These are the written instructions that I gave it to actually have it do the work. And the interesting thing now is that these instructions, I actually created to tell itself how to create the bot. And that's really stuff that boggles my head, and it's going to be changing a lot of stuff for us as instructors. We know how to put this together because we know what we should be asking ChatGPT in terms of questions. We know that part, and that's what we're giving the instructions here so that ChatGPT can create bots for us that allow us or the bot to do that. And we're still needed because we're the instructor. We're the one that answers specific questions to unique situations. We're the one that can do the live coaching, whether it be in person or online. to be there to walk people through situations that don't necessarily fit in with the bot, because they all don't. So here's, let's go take a look at this, and I'll just say, we'll go back to the bot just on the other side here, and we'll do one of the questions to get started. Okay, so we'll pick that one up and say, I'm just going to say, we need help picking a wall color. And what happens? Fantastic, I'd love to help you. Let's start off by the room that you're painting. It's a living room. So it goes through this entire process with us and helps us out. This was done with Chat GPT. The reason I'm showing this for you is you're also going to be able to do this with courses and the steps that we just talked about and went through. Doing it manually on Chat GPT, we're going to have a bot that does that step with us shortly. But the cool thing is, and the part that you have to do as an instructor up front, is irrespective of you making those choices or you going through and doing that, you are going to have to spend some time up front having the topical authority map and saying, this is a different variations on this one. That's the wrong prompt. Sorry, we'll go up one. So semantically relevant, but unique topics. You have to do that work. You have to make sure that it's a viable course that you can make some money with, that people are asking questions with. You have to be focused on your area of expertise to go through this process first and use the tools. So here's kind of the gist you want to think about. Use Chat GPT, the basic one, to do your homework on the map, topical authority map. Make sure that you're in the right place. Make sure that you have a customer or student avatar. Make sure that there's enough search intent or search volume for what it is that you're doing. We've talked another thing about using tools like Answer the Public to find out what people are actually searching for and wanting to learn as courses. All of these things have to be done up front. But once you've got that, then you take what you've learned and you ask ChatGPT to build out the syllabus, build out the text for the lessons if you want. Collect all that information, but make sure that you've organized it in that form with the hub and spokes, which was what I was talking about earlier. Okay. How long have I been going? 37 minutes here. I'm not even sure if there's anyone asked online right now. I've just been kind of talking away because I get carried away with this stuff because it's fun and I have a blast doing it. Let me just open up YouTube here and see if anyone's on the channel. If there are any questions, you can certainly go and ask those now. There we go. Turn that off. Yeah, so if there are any questions, make sure to ask. Put them in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff as it relates to this ChatGPT and creating courses and the bots that we can be used to creating courses. I think it's an exciting time for us as teachers, so I'm going to spend more time on that and have some fun with it. And again, if you're unsure, the bots aren't asking your question, you're scared off by this stuff, just come and join the site and ask questions there, and I'll do my best to answer them and use them as examples. One of the ones that we get asked, if it's a question that we get asked a couple times, we'll do a video on it. We'll do a course on it so that people can go through, learn what they need to learn, and do what they need to do to get the outcome that they want. So I think I might wrap that up for today and not do any more, just because I'm having a blast with it here. If you do have questions, sure, make sure to ask. I'll leave this live one up, I think, or I'll probably chunk it up and put it in as uploaded videos and have it as information for you to be able to start wrapping your head around what you're going to do with the courses that you create in the education businesses that you're building. So hope you enjoyed this session. My name's James. The site is trainingsites.io, and we're here to help you start, build, and grow your online business.